Hello fellow YouTubers and welcome to a continuation episode of my favorite non-battle Kiseki themes. And I apologize for not getting this out sooner. I left you guys hanging at number 11 for those who did watch and enjoy and cared. No, but I left you guys at 11 and I never got back to it because I have been busy. I've been busy. That's all. Yeah. That's what happens when you get old. Kinda sucks. Anywho, if you haven't checked out the other half of the I guess the 20 to 11 countdown, the video link will be somewhere in this area. Check it out. I also have links within that video to all the full versions of the song. I don't put them up on my videos. I just don't like to do that personally. So, if you want to listen to the whole song, link to that. So there's links to listen to the whole thing if you do enjoy that kind of music. That's really about it. And this covers 6 games. So this is 6 different games and just the non-battle themes that I really like from these 6 games. So yes, I did kind of make some stipulations with it. So there's certain things that I would like to have added, but because I don't think it would have been, I don't want to say fair is not the right word, but I just didn't want to it would have suited more for it being a battle theme itself than just saying a stage theme. I'm looking at you, Nayuta. Wherever the game is. Somewhere in this mess. But yeah. So, yes, if you did see the 20 to 11, or you're just like, I don't care, I just wanted to see what this top 10, then continue watching. So, as we go into number 10. Number 10 on the list is from Nyota No Kiseki, and it is called Aru Natsu no Hi, and it's basically like one summer day, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's the main theme, but it is a very common theme that's used and reused throughout the game. It's fairly basic. The reason why I like it is just it's got this sense of kind of, I don't want to say adventure, but the precursor to it. It's like the build up to having this wonderful adventure, and it's just this really nice kind of song that's just like, yeah, let's go on an adventure, kind of. Not quite, but it's just kind of like, yeah, we're having fun, kind of thing. I know it sounds really dumb, but it's really enjoyable, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it tugs at any sort of nostalgia strings of some sort, but it's very simplistic, but it's also a very soothing, and it's a very good song to get you into the mood of the game, and to kind of carry that mood throughout the game with its different variations of the song. So yeah, so that's my number 10. Number 9 on the list is from Ao no Kiseki, and the song is called Mystic Core. I really entirely love Ao no Kiseki and Zero no Kiseki. These 2 games are fantastic. There's just something about them. There's the detective aspect of it. You're playing a group that is kind of as a rival state towards the Bracers Guild, which you play as for FC and SC, Trails in the Sky, FC and SC, but not just that, but just there's so many things going on at this point that you're having to try to kind of push back the fog of everything to learn exactly what's going on. You're trying to, in some regard, find out who killed your brother, the main character's brother, and as well as you're trying to figure out what are certain groups in Crossbell trying to do or not trying to do. You're dealing with jerks off to the west and to the south, different countries being jerks and stuff. And all of this is just coming to a head in Ao no Kiseki. And eventually it gets to the point where it just goes, and it's terrible. It hits rock bottom for the characters, which is, I don't mind that. I like in both Zero and Ao no Kiseki, you're having to deal with some of the characters' arcs and backstories. Next on the list at number 8 is from Sora no Kiseki SC. I know I haven't had too many of the earlier ones on here. Unfortunately, I think I like the music in the latter half of the game so far. Sorry. But, yes, this is from Sora no Kiseki SC, and it is called Sora o Miyagete. And it basically means look up at the sky. And it's a song that kind of plays when you're going through a certain area of the game. It's early on in the game and you hear the song and it feels a little somber's not that melancholy, and it kind of reflects to me it reflects the mood of Estelle very early on in the game as she tries to come to terms with what happens at the end of the first game, which for those of you who have played and have gotten to that end and don't know anything else that happens after that, I really hope that SC does come out. At least SC does come out for you guys. Yeah. But anywho, this song is just I really enjoy it. It's kind of got this. It kind of makes me think of. I don't know why, but it makes me think of a little bit of another game that I used to play a little bit of, but so it kind of gives me a different game vibe. But I just really like the song, and there's a vocal version of it on one of the other CDs that Falcom has put out, and the vocal song's actually like really good. So definitely really enjoy this song. So that is why it's my number 8. Number 7 on the list is from Zero no Kiseki, and it is called Kurotsu No貿易公司, and it's like the Black Moon Trading Company. This song plays not too horribly much. You also hear it in Ao no Kiseki. It plays a couple times, and at first when you hear it, it's pretty average. It's kind of, for lack of a very better word, it sounds Asian. I hate to use it as that kind of descriptor, but it has a very Eastern kind of music going on for it. But it makes sense because that's where this company has kind of that motif. But after the first 45 seconds, I know that sounds like a really long time, but after the first 45 seconds of like, okay, this is kind of a cool little tune, it kind of changes into this very, I don't know, it changes, and it goes from this very simple song to a very kind of just like, ooh, something's yeah, this is, I dig this. kind of thing. And when it goes into that change at the around the like the 45-second, 50-second mark, it really is really enjoyable for me. In the Evolution version of it, it has a flute that plays. I think it's a reed flute, but a reed flute kicks in at around that mark, and it's just like, yes, this is awesome. So that's why it's my number 7. Number 6 on the list is from Nyota No Kiseki, and it is called Nayuta, Makeないで. And it's basically bad things are happening to your main character, well, to the main character Nayuta, or to something just on Nayuta's side, and it's a sad song, and it's supposed to be a sad song, and it carries the mood for it very well. So it makes you kind of depressed, or at least just kind of like, oh, I don't want to say depressed. I guess it just makes you kind of a little sad. It's the violin for it, I think, does a really good job, and it helps enhance the scenes when you do hear this song. I think that's something that Falcom has really gotten well at doing, is to make certain songs really carry that mood for the scene that how they want that mood to be. Even if it might seem a little weird at first, eventually it might come to make sense. This isn't one of those cases, of course, but I mean, with East music, it's always about kill slash Blizzard of Town, Happy Town. But here, you're with the Kiseki games, they have to juggle a lot more of what's going on. They can't always just have rocking music, and with Ao no Kiseki, it's kind of the case. But this is Nyota No Kiseki, and here it's you're basically losing, and that's when the song is playing. Basically, you're on the receiving end of a butt whooping, and it's there's other scenes where this plays, and you're just kind of like, oh no, Nyota, come on. So that's why it's my number 6. Number 5 on the list is from Zero no Kiseki, and it is A Light Illuminating the Depths. Now this song, you hear right at the beginning of the game, and you don't hear it again until you get to the final dungeon. And this song is just, it makes you want to kick ass and beat the final boss. Now there is a reason why that is the case, of why you hear it at the beginning and at the end, but that is for you to discover if hopefully you ever do get the chance to play Zero no Kiseki and Ao no Kiseki, because you'll find out why in Ao no Kiseki. But it's just a really awesome song, and I love the it being the final dungeon kind of song. It's just a very well put together final dungeon theme, and you're just like, yes, want to whoop some tail after you figure out what's happening and why certain things are, because it's especially with Zero no Kiseki, you're trying to determine who's doing what and why are people doing these certain things, and then when you find out who, as well as in Ao no Kiseki, when you find out who, you're like, and you want to whip some tail. And Zero no Kiseki really pours it on with the sweetness for this final dungeon theme, and that's why it is my number 5. Now, number 4 on my list might be a little bit cheating. I'm going to be upfront with you guys on this one. It's from Ao no Kiseki, and it's actually 2 songs, because the 2 sound incredibly similar, and they practically have the same name. One song is called鋼鉄の咆哮 Shisen, and then the other one's called 鋼鉄の咆哮 Kyoi. And basically, Shisen means death. Actually, the Kotetsu no Hoko is kind of like steel roar, steel howl is, I guess, a way to put it. And then Shisen means death. Kyoi, it means like threat or menace. So these 2 songs play during scenes that there are criminal activities going on. You're actually on you're at the crime scene when the first one plays, and you're just like, gotta figure out what's going on. And the reason why I say I might be cheating, not just for the fact that I'm using 2 songs for the 4th slot, but also because I don't have the time to basically play through the 13 to 15 hours to get to this point in the game. But the first one plays, and I believe what happens is that it plays at the scene, and then I think battles that happen during that scene, they might just overlap into with this same song. They don't go to a battle theme. I could be wrong, but I specifically remember the songs for the scene, so that's, I guess, why I might be saying I'm cheating at this. But these songs are great tension builders, and they fit the mood, and you're just like, bad things are happening because it's Ao no Kiseki, and bad things happen for everybody. Well, not everybody, but bad things happen, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. And so, yeah, that's why they were my number 4. Great tension builders, great for the scenes. They're incredibly, for a soundtrack that's really, really enjoyable to me, such as Ao no Kiseki. Those 2 songs, just like boom, right out like Japan. These just always really great, and I always like to listen to them. So that's why they're my number 4. Number 3 on the list, yes, top 3. Here we go. Number 3 on the list is from Sora no Kiseki the Third, and it is called Phantasmagoria. And honestly, the third is a bit of a strange game. Personally, it feels like a massive final dungeon, not in a bad way. It's just really, for some reason, it's just very different, especially from FC and SC. You have 2 different main characters. Estelle and Joshua are still in it, but they aren't the main characters, so it's a little different. You have up to 16 characters to choose from for your party, and by the end of the game, you actually have to break them off into different groups and storm Phantasmagoria, which is kind of like the final dungeon of the final dungeon, I guess. But holy crap, is this song! It just feels great that by the end of the third game of, I guess you would kind of say, the Sora no Kiseki trilogy, you finally feel like, alright, this has got to be it. Obviously it's not, but there are definitely a few questions that are left unanswered by the end of it, which leads into Zero no Kiseki. But by the time you get to the end of this, you're thinking, okay, this is it. I'm gonna finish it up. I'm gonna wrap everything up in a nice little package, put a bow on it, send it on its merry way. And Phantasmagoria does a good job of kind of wrapping everything up for the trilogy when it comes to this final dungeon theme. So that's why it's my number 3. Number 2 on the list is a song from a game that actually did make it. This is from FC. Yay! Sora no Kiseki FC gets on the boards at number 2. And it is the final dungeon theme. It's what is it? Kurotsu No Hikari no Futsuchi. So it's basically like the sealed area. It's like the hollowed light, like the sealed area of the hollowed light. It's kanji everywhere. But yeah, basically, I believe, I hope it was, but I believe on the, if you did get the soundtrack one, and even not, you could probably find it on the YouTubes. It's simple terms. It's called Sealed Area. The end. But it's definitely a really good final dungeon theme, I think, because it gets you. It builds up at that anticipation of what's been going on as you're trying to stop everything that's been going on. That's really picked up, especially in the last couple, I won't say couple hours, but the last half of the game would probably be a better way to put it. Because FC's really, really innocent and kind of pure at first. It's kind of like, hey, da 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 da, you're going around, you're traveling. Of course, there's some bad things that kind of happening. You're like, oh man, that's horrible. But for the most part, you're just kind of la 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 la, going around Liberal Kingdom, la 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 la, and then it progressively gets a bit more tense and just bad things are starting to happen. And then you get to this final area, and it's like, okay, time to end it, time to bring it down. Yeah, and I think it does a really good job of it. And for being a non-battle theme, it has a very good mood about it to kind of keep it very tense and like, oh. So that's why it's my number 2. And finally, woo party! My favorite song that's a non-battle theme song from the Kiseki series is from Sora no Kiseki SC, and it is called NaCama no Motoe, and it plays near, not exactly the end, but near the end of the game. And that's kind of really, I can't really say too much more, but it's just a really good song, and by the 50-second mark, you'll hear some, definitely hear a very familiar theme, but it's I don't know, I just really enjoy the song, and I think it's cool and everything, that it's like, yeah, alright, you know, and it's definitely, for being a non-battle theme, it's, I would say it's my favorite. And so that is, top 20! The 10 to number 1. I'm tired. Hope you enjoyed, and definitely links here and there and everywhere which way. So if you like the music, definitely link it. Click the links, and hopefully you enjoy it. I think, unfortunately, you might have. I'm hoping that there'll be some for Nayuta. Nayuta no Kiseki seems to have not really a lot of fans for its music. It seems they want to put up music for it, but I'm hoping I can find links for it. Fingers crossed. Yeah, so definitely hope that you enjoyed this. I'm going to bed because I'm super sleepy, and yeah, that's it. So thanks for watching, guys, and have a good day.